This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. I don't imagine you expected this. I definitely didn't either, but I got an email just shortly after I bought the Enigmatic, and I got an email from Universal Audio, and they said, do you want to get involved with this launch? And they're launching basically 3 plug-in versions of the, I think, pretty successful pedals. You've got the Ruby, you've got the Lion, and you've got the Dream 65. Now, there's no particular hard sell here. At launch, they're doing a half-price promotion on these, so I think you can get them for $149. Once the launch part is over, I think they're ramping that price up. Essentially, I think you can now get access to the tones of those pedals in your DAW, which for me is a way better workflow. And I think it's going to suit a bunch of folks, you know, home producers, people in the studio. You want to reamp a DI, now you've got access to these great tones, Voxy, Fendery, and Marshally. I hope they're going to continue doing a few more of these, because I think it'd be really good to see the Enigmatic in this format. Now in this video I want to show you a little bit of a run through of the actual plugins, but before I do that I wanted to maybe just show you some isolated clips which I thought sounded really good to me. So first up we've got the Dream, and for this one I wanted to kind of crank it like I have done my actual Fender amps, and I've really enjoyed the sound of like a Fender Blackface amp on 10 into a load box, and I wanted to see if the UA stuff actually captures some of that. So here's that. Next, with the Vox, I don't know if any of you guys have tried this sort of thing, but I imagine that if you plugged into an AC30 totally cranked with a boost cranked, it'd be fairly noisy, right? But if you back off the volume, you can get some really nice clean tones. But there isn't a noise gate on this plugin, and probably you wouldn't want to use a noise gate to actually reduce the touch responsiveness of this one. So if it sounds noisy, that's kind of why, but it's an AC30 boosted, right? But listen, I think, to how it cleans up and also how it can then gets a little bit juicy. Last of all, I wanted to show you the Lion, which is their version of a Marshall. Now, of course, I reckon probably in a lot of other demos and in the introduction here, you actually heard this with a lot of gain. I think there was a Bloomin' Solo was the preset that I used for this one. The presets on these, incidentally, do sound really good. For this, I wanted to show you a little bit of the more chilled version of like what a Plexi could do. And there's this preset called Jimmy Boulder's Love, I think. Obviously based on the Jimi Hendrix type thing, but I think this has a beautiful clean as well. For those clips, what I did was stuck Helix Native after with a little bit of delay and reverb, because you've got room reverb built into these, except for the Dream 65, which has the actual spring reverb. But I think these plugins are going to pair really nicely with potentially what you've already got in your DAW. Of course, leave your comments in the description if you want to chat about price, if you want to discuss the value proposition here. I think with the universal audio stuff in general, I think the idea really is that you're paying for a bit more of a curated experience, really good modeling, but you're not someone who necessarily wants to choose through loads and loads and loads of different amps. I think that's what's going on here, like a simpler way to kind of get straight into a Vox tone, straight into a deluxe reverb tone, straight into a Plexi tone. Now let's jump in and I'll show you the ins and outs of the thing. But thanks to Universal Audio for allowing me to demo this and sponsoring the video. I think I'm going to be using these plugins quite a lot. Here's Dream 65, which I think has one of the better reverbs that I've ever tried in the digital realm. Here playing with a ES335. One of the things I kind of like about it is that as you crank this, it still retains I guess the overwhelming feeling that I get when using this is that the tones are good, but also it's simple. You know, you just literally just... And then of course direct. So a few cabs. You know, you're certainly not going to be getting option overload with this, I wouldn't have thought. The other thing that you've got going on is that you've got presets, which you can move into the middle and kind of put them around. They've got tags, favorites and all that sort of stuff. But some of these sound really good. Shag carpet. Got boost up here if we want it. Bright and normal, and then also you've got your lead and your dumbbell style. So yeah, some really cool stuff there. So that's kind of like the very basics. This one doesn't have a gate, but as you see, you've got your kind of 3 channels that you had on it. It's a very simple sort of setup. Then, for instance, we've got Lion here, which is your Plexi, which is a slightly more complicated thing. We've got a gate up here with some settings if you want them. And we also, instead of the spring, we get a room sound. So that's pretty cool. Can turn the bright cap on or off. Got boost on or off, ghost notes on or off. So it's, I think, a lot kind of easier to navigate than the app or the actual hardware itself. I think they kind of superseded the hardware in a lot of ways for me personally. So yeah, presets here. We've got like blooming solo. Very versatile actually, this. Ruby, this one actually doesn't have a gate either, but we do have 3 channels, kind of our normal channel. And we got our room again, and a bunch of different cabs. And a Dallas Rangemaster, I think, the treble boost. Got lots of gain on this one. And then we've also got a vibrato here. And a bunch, of course, of so it can do kind of those Queenie things. Lead drive here. Probably going to want to pair it with, you know, your favourite kind of other delays and reverbs and stuff. But I think some really, really cool tones in there. Particularly, I was really liking